Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
It's 5:06. It's O'Connor and Company. Before you get all panicked and worried, Julie Gunlock's here. Don't worry. Welcome back, Julie. I hope you enjoyed your President's Day.
I did. Good morning. Good to be back.
Good. Happy to have you back. Also joining us, as if anyone else matters, it's 6:35. Grover Norquist, Americans for Tax Reform. 7:05. Brent Sadler with Heritage Foundation. Latest on these Ukraine-Russia talks that should begin today between Trump and Putin. And then at 7:35, Reagan Reese, Daily Caller. Latest updates on your President of the United States, Donald Trump. Reagan Reese covers the White House on behalf of the Daily Caller. I'm Larry O'Connor, by the way. And we call the show O'Connor and Company because, well, yeah, I'm still lost on that one. Actually, I'll be honest with you.
I'm the
I just
company.
followed Julie Gunlock's lead.
I'm still waiting for you to hand me a cocktail. You know, that's what you do when company comes.
So yesterday, really, was it that kind of day off? Was it? Yesterday, we brought up this story. Elon Musk had tweeted out this graphic that showed the people in the Social Security database and their ages, or an age range. It's a 10-year age range, 0 to 9, 10 to 19, 20 to 29. You figure that the Social Security database has everybody's information. When you're born now, see, back when I was a kid, I don't know about you, Julie, I'm a teeny bit older than you. Mm-hmm. Just a hair.
Thank
just
God. Thank God I have that.
Like a whisker.
Whisker.
We used to get we didn't have to get a Social Security number until we got a job, right? I remember the day I went down to get my Social Security number. I was like 13, I want to say, maybe 12. Because we got jobs back then when we were kids.
That's right.
And you didn't need a Social Security number until you got an actual paycheck. Now they assign a Social Security number at birth, which is creepy. It was weird when we had our kids, right? It's like, you're putting them to work all of a sudden?
Here's their number.
But they assign a number to them, right? And so you figure that's in Social Security, right? You've got like a, what is it, a 9-digit number, right? You figure, they thought this through. It's been going on since Franklin Roosevelt, and there's like this giant database somewhere that has everyone's name, everyone's birthday, everyone's Social Security number, and, can't be duplicated. We've already learned that's not the case. The duplicates everywhere. Got your birth date, it's got your work history, so when you're ready to retire, bring, you push a button, and all the money is sorted through. The money part, we realize they have no idea what the hell they're doing. That's certainly something that we've checked on. But now about the age. So they have this database, and Elon Musk put out this grid yesterday during the show that showed that, 20, 30, 40 million people in every age group. And then you get to 80 to 89, and it dwindles down to like 15 million. Makes sense. 90 to 99, 6 million. Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
100 to 109, 4.7 million. Wait a second. We got 4.7 million people living past 100?
Right.
What? We don't need RFK Jr. Bring me another Big Mac. We're
what
fine.
Is the secret? Right.
Could I just want to take, start doing shots of red dye number 2, for crying out loud, because whatever we're doing, it's looking good. You get to 110 to 119, and we got 3.6 million. You think, all right, something's going on here.
What?
When all these old people
hold on, but it goes
outlive
on. Look at this.
They outlive the dude on the Today Show that used to celebrate everyone's birthday when they hit 100.
They're
right?
outliving Japanese people who live in tiny villages and only eat fish.
That Russian guy,
right?
the Russian guy that ate nothing but Yoplait. This is what we need in our lives. So now, jump ahead here, because I don't want to do every decade. 140 to 149, 3.5 million people.
What in the
150
world?
to 150, 1.3 million. Okay, how about 170 years old?
Wait a minute.
6,000. Oh, finally we see some.
Honestly, I love that. It goes all the way up to 229. Okay. What cracks me up is at 210 to 219, there's 866 of them living. Okay.
Yeah.
And then
still alive.
Of the 220s and 229, there's actually more. There's 1.3, 1,000 essentially, 39. Yeah. I mean, my God, there's more of them. 229 years old.
I just want to reiterate, all of these people in the Social Security database, there's a value on one of the fields that says dead or alive, basically. Actually, the way they do it is dead, true or false. And it says false. So according to the Social Security database, all of these people who are 220 years old, 220 years old are not dead. Now, they may not be alive, but they're not dead, according to that. And he joked and put this out and said maybe Twilight is real and there's a lot of vampires collecting Social Security. Now, there have been a couple of different people who have looked at this and said, oh, this has to do with the type of programming language that they use. And actually, if you knew what you were talking about, Elon, all you have to do is this and this and this, and then that'll give you. But no, that's not the point. The point is, I don't care what language you're using. I don't know what database algorithms you need to trip and fix to make this happen. There are people sitting there in the database that are supposedly alive. Whether you put in a fake date just as a placeholder or what have you, it doesn't matter.
I mean, when you
this is an antiquated system. You should be able to walk up to the Social Security system, push a button, say, show me in every age range how many people are alive, and get it without having to twist yourself into a programming pretzel.
That's right.
So either way, we've got a problem here.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a Social Security system showing that some people were born in 1795. That's a problem. That's
that are still alive. Yeah.
Yes, that are still alive.
So within hours of this happening, Acting Social Security Administration Commissioner Michelle King stepped down from her post. This is after DOJ requested access to recipient data. Now, and by the way, all the hysteria out there, it's like Elon Musk wants access to your data. He wants access to your payments. This is what he's looking at, guys. This is what he's trying to fix. The richest man in the world doesn't need to steal out of grandma's Social Security check, okay?
He owned PayPal. Okay, I think he could have done this long before. Also, can I just say it's interesting she stepped down. Now, look, in this town, I mean, when you have Margaret Brennan blaming, the Holocaust on free speech, it's refreshing to see someone, there's a problem, clearly you have made a massive error here and you step down, but it's not, she didn't step down for that. She said it's apparently she refused to give the information to DOJ staffers initially, and now she's stepping down in protest of that. So this isn't like stepping down because I feel guilty and I've been revealed to be an idiot. No,
because I'm incompetent.
Yes.
Yeah, no, not at all. And I have no doubt that Acting Social Security Administration Commissioner Michelle King is either a Biden holdover or perhaps an Obama holdover.
Yep.
And again, it was all, she's taking a stand because she doesn't want Elon Musk to have access to this information.
To the disaster
the information's
she
wrong. It needs to be fixed. Yeah. She should step down because she's been overseeing an agency that is a nightmare right now and that is broken. Trump has nominated, by the way, somebody to lead the Social Security Administration. We expect him to be confirmed, but of course it's being held up in the Senate because there's higher profile positions that need to be confirmed first, including FBI director. But again, they say the whole explanation here about what this is has to do with people having placeholders. Because if you look at the total number of people that Elon Musk detailed in this grid, we should have a population of 394 million people. But of course, the current population number stands at 334 million. But maybe the additional 60 million are illegal immigrants. We're not sure.
That's what I'm thinking. That's
our systems are broken.
Yes.
And Musk and DOJ are trying to get to the bottom of it. And there are still people defending it and saying that he's the bad guy here. It's 5:15, WMAL traffic and weather.
WMAL, making sense of the news.
So a little bit more on this because I think it's a perfect sort of microcosm of what's going on here with DOJ and Musk and everything. You got people screaming that Elon Musk wants access to your private financial data. And they're quitting because of it. This acting Social Security Administrator, which I haven't checked, but I'm pretty sure she's a holdover from prior Democrat administrations and a defender of the administrative state. Yes. Is quitting because rather than let Elon Musk look at this private financial information. when Elon Musk says, we're trying to get a handle on how antiquated the systems are, how inefficient. Again, the E in Doge stands for efficiency. He's trying to make things efficient. So as an example of how inefficient things are, he puts out this report that shows we have 390 million people, and a good 15 to 20 million of them are over the age of 100. And they're still living, and they're still active in the Social Security database. Mm-hmm. And then you get all these people responding saying, oh, you just don't understand how the systems work.
Right.
Those aren't people who are alive. They're placeholders. Justin Wolfers, an expert on databases and a senior fellow at, wait for it, the Brookings Institute.
Of course.
He's an expert on the deep state. He's an expert on the administrative state. He's an expert on government inefficiency. His job is to tell you why what to any other person would look like as complete and total inefficiency in an upside-down system is actually the very best and the brightest that we can have. He says, one thing I've learned to do when I have questions about Social Security number holders who are age 100 or older is to look up the Social Security Administration Inspector General Audit Report. Number holders age 100 or older who did not have death information on the Nubident, Wolfers posted. He did all this stuff on X, by the way. Went on to explain that the government database obviously is not clean. It doesn't mean that those people who don't show that they're dead are not dead. It doesn't mean they're receiving payments. It just means that because the death notice was done in a certain electronic way, it didn't actually get triggered in the Social Security database, and so the database isn't clean. And then he asks, hypothetically or rhetorically, should government databases be cleaner? It's a cost-benefit question. It costs $5 to $10 million to clean out the old records. Benefit? Only limited benefit, because almost none of these records are receiving payments. It hardly feels like big potatoes either way. This is the mentality.
Yeah.
The whole fact of the matter is that Elon Musk is trying to make the government more efficient and trying to make the government work like any other business. My question to Mr. Wolfers is, Would GE allow this in their employee database? I have a better question. Would the government, would the IRS be okay with a private corporation having this in their HR payment system?
No.
And the answer is no.
Of course not. But
the answer is no.
Also, this, I'm not read up on this. Frankly, I'm so glad that you're explaining this because I needed it to be explained to me a little bit, make it a little bit clearer. But doesn't this also make it easier for illegal aliens to get Social Security numbers? I mean, I could be wrong, but I mean, they're not, it's you think about an illegal alien trying to get Social Security numbers so that they can, pay taxes, whatever. They're not creating a pretend Social Security number. They're using one that's already in the system. To me, that seems like a vulnerability. Am I wrong there, Larry? Right. That seems...
No, you're not wrong at all, because if you think about it, if you're in the business of identity theft, and you want to use somebody's Social Security number so you can pretend to be somebody else.
You want a real one.
Well, you want a real number, and who is least likely to complain about it? Like
a dead
you get
person.
Caught. Yeah, that would be the answer. A dead person.
Sorry.
See, you get caught using someone's Social Security number when the real holder of that Social Security number complains and stops it and says, hey, someone else is using my number. Guess who's never going to complain? Someone who was born in 1764.
This Justin Wolfers, it's this typical sort of very DC, blinders on, right? Like, they're not getting paid, so that's fine. Whereas, you need to look beyond that of it again, making the country vulnerable to people using these Social Security numbers illegally. Yeah. And also just the idea that we're just going to let something sit there. I think it's really important that you mentioned what business would allow this. And are we going to say there are proper ways in which things operate and improper ways? And if we're just going to stop fixing improper payments, improper fraud and waste and this and that, I mean, fine. Then we're going to live in a really broken society. And apparently that's okay for Justin Wolfers. It's not okay for me.
Well, one person replied appropriately and said, it seems that the Social Security computers can't do a simple count of how many people have Social Security numbers in the system and what their ages are. Elon's correct. It's time to stop using computers from 1980 and put some new ones that don't require many specially trained engineers to run them or an expert from the Brookings Institute to explain them. Doge charges forward. It's 5:23.
Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
It's 5:36, and we're plowing through this news cycle like an explorer in a Philippine jungle with two machetes. We're just gonna shred right through that stuff and get you everything you need to know. Distill it down so you can start your day a little smarter and hopefully with a smile on your face. It's 6:35. We'll speak with Grover Norquist, Americans for Tax Reform. He must be enjoying Doge going after the IRS. 7:05, Brent Sadler, Heritage Foundation on Ukraine-Russia talks. And then at 7:35, our friend Reagan Reese, White House reporter there for the Daily Caller. It's Larry O'Connor with Julie Gunlock back from a really luxurious day off, Julie.
Doing laundry. Woo-hoo.
Hope you enjoyed your spa day, I hope.
Sure.
I've admitted that I have a bit of a man crush on J.D. Vance.
Oh,
and
yes.
I'm waiting for J.D. Vance to do something where I can say, well, there you go. All right. See, I knew this was inevitable, but he just keeps.
He's so great. Yeah.
Keeps drawing me in. He's just stolen my heart. This latest has to do with an exchange
better
he
watch
had
out, Larry. Jeez.
with Mehdi Hassan. Mehdi Hassan, who was so radical, even MSNBC had to fire him. Mehdi Hassan, who I believe his media empire is funded by one of those Middle East oil countries with shady connections.
Or USAID.
It's called Zeteo News. Anyway, Hassan, he's retweeting. So Mark Caputo's a reporter for Politico. Mm-hmm. Mark Caputo reports that President Trump's decision to limit AP reporters' access is as much fight over the Gulf of America as it is protest of the White House advisors say is years of liberal word choices AP's influential stylebook has spread across mainstream media, which is, by the way, very accurate. You know, we talked about this yesterday. It is about the Gulf of America, but it's indicative of AP sort of dictating to the rest of journalism what kind of words they're allowed to use about various things, right? Yeah. If you ever wonder why media outlets sound the same, we're even accused here, we have no control or no connection to WMAL News, right? That's a very separate entity. Mm-hmm. But we often hear, hey, why does your news person say it this way, right? Because they come on the air and we say it a very different way. And it's because they all follow the AP style book. Well, and it's not, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the way journalism has been done, no matter what. Even Fox News does it. Even Newsmax does it.
Even
you follow the AP
do
style
it.
book.
I work at the Independent Women's Forum, and Patrice and I, we write op-eds, we write white papers, and we follow the AP style. We have started to veer away from it because they are so political. And you realize that,
That's
right. The capitalization of black, but not white, all this stuff. Right. We don't follow.
The use of female pronouns for men who describe themselves and present themselves as women. We got this story about this transgender cult, a murder cult. Yep. These are people who murdered people in cold blood. The leader of the cult was arrested in Maryland overnight. We'll get to that story a little later. But in all of the articles, this guy, this mass murderer, is referred to as she, her.
Yeah,
right?
Another great
Why is that? The reason is AP Stylebook. AP Stylebook decided they would do that, and so now everybody has to.
Another great example, the fact that they make you put jerk face in front of President Trump's name. I mean, that is not nice, and we don't follow that. But the AP...
It's a Stylebook choice. So Mark Caputo points this out accurately on behalf of Politico. Mehdi Hassan, the aforementioned terrorist sleeper cell adjacent media personality, in my opinion, Mehdi Hassan says on the X platform, hey, J.D. Vance, I know you're busy lecturing the Europeans on free speech, but have you seen this? All right, so Mehdi has what a gotcha moment. Yeah. What a burn. See, you're upset that in Germany they're arresting people for liking Facebook posts. Yes, exactly. 60 Minutes seems to love that behavior. How dare you, JD fans, lecture them when you're keeping AP reporters out of the Oval Office, because that's the same thing.
Right, exactly. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Not letting an AP reporter in the Oval Office to report as part of the White House pool is the same as being arrested and jailed for liking a Facebook post that the government thinks you shouldn't like. All right, so you got to be Mehdi Hassan to see the connection there. But J.D. Vance doesn't let it die. J.D. Vance, the Vice President of the United States, gets on Twitter and replies and says, Yes, dummy. Now, all right, I'll finish the whole statement. But yes, dummy. I think there's a difference between not giving a reporter a seat in the White House press briefing room and jailing people for dissenting views. The latter is a threat to free speech. The former is not. Hope that helps. That's so beautiful, and it's so wonderful. And after people say, "Oh, why do you guys like Trump? Why, he's so abrasive and he tweets mean things. Why do you like J.D. Vance calling Mehdi Hassan a dummy?" Well, first of all, he is a dummy.
Yeah,
he deserves to be treated with derision. Number one, but number two, I'm sorry. They called George W. Bush is a fine human being, a good and decent man, and they called him a Nazi, a white supremacist. They called him a war criminal. And he never defended himself.
Right.
He
right.
never spoke up.
Right.
He just shrugged and joked and just walked away, and it was left without any reply, and it was left to us to say something in his defense. It's like, dude, if you're not going to defend yourself, why the hell should I stick my neck out?
And frankly,
to
he didn't
defend
really defend us either. So, even after we
that's true.
That's a whole nother
But he's still a good and decent man.
Fine.
J.D. Vance says, yeah, you're a dummy. Here's why it's different. And we love people who fight back. We love people who defend common sense. And I just love the dad vibe, though, the dad energy of calling someone a dummy. Because I know that's what you call your 4-year-old boy when he's being a dummy. You say, "Hey, dummy, put that down. Get over here."
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
But it also shows. I mean, I will say there's another section of conservatives who might, or Republicans, whatever, who might respond to this, but in a I think you're wrong. Let me set you straight. And they would give this very let me give you this explanation. He responds in the way Mehdi Hassan should be responded to. He is a dummy. Yeah. He's a jerk.
And by the way, way most normal people would respond. Yes. That's how you talk, especially on social media. So we love it. And I'm going to start incorporating it into my daily communications here at the office.
Just not towards me, please. Thank you.
When our program director Bill Hess says, hey, did you do X, Y, and Z? I'm just going to say,
don't do that.
Yes, dummy.
No. There's a reason he's called Darth Vader. Now don't do that. Don't poke him.
I think you're right.
I am right.
That would be ill-advised.
I hope he's not listening.
I can't call anybody dummy except my own kids, and even then, now my kids are big enough to kick my butt. Well, the man crush continues. Thank you, J.D. Vance. It's 5:44.
Win tickets to the Capitol Remodel and Garden Show, February 21st through 23rd at the Dulles Expo Center. Visit WMAL.com/contests.
5:47. Hey, dummy. Hey, dummy. Hey, dummy, put your headphones on.
You are in so much trouble.
It's on-air content. I can say whatever I want. Those are the rules. First Amendment. Seriously, the Midwest dad energy coming from J.D. Vance.
It's true.
Calling Mehdi Hassan
No,
dummy.
it's his grandmother. It's his
It is. That's Meemaw. That's Meemaw talking.
Exactly.
All right. Well, while we're talking about Gulf of America, Google Maps has now blocked reviews of it. You know how you can review everything online, and you can give even Google Maps. And every location you can it's sort of like Yelp, right? Google Maps has their own sort of review. So if you're looking for a restaurant or a bar somewhere, you can find the bar, click on it, and Google users give it a review. Well, they've been giving a review to the Gulf of America because Google has changed the name, appropriately so, to Gulf of America, and it's gotten a lot of reviews. Most of them bad, and so they've now turned off review. You're not allowed to review the Gulf of America anymore.
People have so much time on their hands.
They weren't reviewing the quality of the water or the beaches or the temperature. They were reviewing Google.
That's right.
Critics said they attempted to leave negative reviews about the newly named body of water, and now the posting has been turned off.
There you go.
Although, to be fair, it got 6,900 reviews with a 4.5% average. So most people seem to like the body of water, although I think it was most of the recent one-star reviews ended up being about the naming of the body of water rather than the quality of the water itself. Dr. Jill Belch. Dr. Jill Belch.
The name.
I like the doctor part there. The doctor is good.
Yeah.
I'm thinking gastroenterologist. Dr. Jill Belch is very upset, took to X to say Google is now censoring us. In the post, literally hundreds said they gave it a 1-star review on Gulf of Mexico name change. Yet today, I appear to be the only one. Others saying same. Also not allowing reports of a naming error. Pretty shocking, Google. Change your search engine.
Shocking.
Dr. Jill Belch is from the UK.
Yes.
Dr. Jill Belch's review was, I'm from the UK. This is not the Gulf of America. Please remove it from our maps. It's the Gulf of Mexico. Thanks.
I mean, don't people have things to do? Honestly.
Exactly. I guarantee you Dr. Jill Belch works for the National Health Service in England. This is what you get with your socialized medicine.
Absolutely. And
because the Brits, they never decided to change the names of indigenous places to suit their own empire. They are perfectly poised to lecture the rest of us about that.
I just can't get over that someone is actually going on Google to review a golf. I just.
Oh, it gets better. The country of Mexico is threatening to sue Google over the name change. Now, let's think about this for a minute. We're told that we cannot call it the Gulf of America by our elite betters in society because it doesn't belong to us. It's bordered by Mexico as well. It's theirs just as much as it's ours.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take that thought process to its fruition. We can't call it Gulf of America because we share it with Mexico, but now Mexico is threatening to sue Google because it's not being called Gulf of Mexico. Why don't the rules apply? Why should Mexico be able to call it Gulf of Mexico? It's a shared body of water.
You should know by now, Larry, there are no rules, or there are very special rules for certain people, certain entities. Rules change, Larry. I mean, look, we live in a world where I'm supposed to say chest feeding instead of breastfeeding, where I'm supposed to say,
birthing person.
Uterine cancer is some sort of abdominal cancer. I mean,
Right.
we live in silly times. We have a murderer out there. We have this sort of transgender gang, and, they beat 2 women to a pulp. This man beats 2 women to a pulp, and I'm supposed to call him or her because that's this criminal, this murderer's allegedly preferred pronouns. I mean, the world has gone bananas, and this is why we will never lose another election. There you go.
So Google thinks they've come up with a compromise because they can, dictate this stuff based on your IP and your location and all that stuff.
Right.
So when you're in America, it'll say Gulf of America. When you go to Mexico and you pull up your Google Maps, it'll say Gulf of Mexico. And then everywhere else in the world, it'll say Gulf of Mexico, and then underneath it, in parentheses, it'll say Gulf of America.
Well, I'm going to sue over those parentheses. I'm offended.
Exactly. That's cultural appropriation or something.